Story time on how my homophobic boyfriend turned out to be actually gay. So my sophomore year of college is actually when I met my boyfriend, which by the way we're calling Justin. Justin had just transferred over and he was a junior. And before anyone comes at me for me being with a homophobic, well, at the time I didn't know he was, and I didn't exactly know what homophobic was. But anyway, back to our relationship, I met him at a Greek party. We talked, swapped numbers, and then the rest was history. Well, history for the next couple months. I would notice little small things in our relationship, like he never liked any of the guy friends I had, specifically the gay friends I had. He always had something to say about them regarding their sexuality. Not even that. There were times about how he would just randomly talk about how gay people are disgusting. And there was one time at this party where he got into a fight with one of my friends, who was, by the way, gay. And this is when I found out he was gay. I'm gonna come back for part two. Part two on how I found out my homophobic boyfriend was gay. So, like I said, we were at a party and he got into it with one of my friends. Now, the whole situation started is when my friend wanted to go get me a drink. And by the way, we all came to the party together. And my boyfriend didn't like that. And he said that he would get it. My friend was like, no, it's cool. I got it. And then they just started bickering back and forth. Of course, my boyfriend was like, oh, you're not her man. You're a sissy. You're that, da-da-da-da-da. Just going all for him. And I was telling him to calm down. It's not that serious. And my friend left the area where we went to go get himself a drink, came back, and threw the drink on my boyfriend. And I was so confused because I thought he was trying to leave the situation alone. And my boyfriend got up and just immediately started going in on him. So they got into it, and my best friend was beat up real bad. When I got up and, tried to clean him off, my friend was like, oh, you need to go talk to your boyfriend about what happened last night. And I'm like, last night? Y'all come back for part 3 on how I found out my homophobic boyfriend was gay. So after their fight or whatever, my friend was messed up real bad. I picked him up, try to help him out. And of course, I was upset about the whole situation, but my boyfriend really blacked out on him, which I thought was unnecessary. Anyways, my friend was really frustrated, was really irritated, and literally out of nowhere, he was like, tell her about last night. And I'm like, what happened last night? He was like, oh, since you want to talk about me being gay, talk about what you do. And I'm looking at him like, what? In my head, I'm still not thinking he's gay. I'm thinking maybe he cheated on me with some girl. But regardless, I still would be upset. And my friend was like, I'm sorry to tell you, but he was with me last night. And I'm looking and I'm chuckling a little bit wait, huh? He's saying after the little arguments that we've been having in our relationship that he would go to my friend's dorm room and they would be messing around. And my boyfriend, of course, the entire time, he's like, that's not true. He's lying. You gonna trust a sissy boy? Am I the asshole for stealing $10,000 from my best friend? So back in 2020, when the pandemic started, my best friend had got laid off from her job. Me, I kind of already worked from home, so as far as working, I never got laid off. Since she was out of work, she was trying to find new ways of making income, and one of them was starting a business. She wanted to start a nail business, which, by the way, this girl could not do nails. And this is no way to bash my friend. She just didn't have the patience to even do her own nails. It took her maybe 3 months to develop her business, but once she had got it running, she started making a lot of money. And I was happy for her, but I was confused on how she was making money because I've never seen her, do anyone's nails. She said in order for me to understand her business, she's not going to give the ins and outs unless I were to join her. And I was like, cool, I guess we both can make money, which I'll explain in part 2. Part 2 of me stealing $10,000 from my best friend. So I joined her business. Mind you, I didn't know exactly what it was about. I just knew it had something to do with nails, and she made little small posts of nails. When I went to her house and saw her bedroom, she had a lot of press-on nails all over the place. So I was like, oh, she's selling press-on nails. And that explains. She told me where she had got everything from, how she markets herself, just explains everything to me. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really great of what you done. I had asked her, how do I get started on? She was like, this business that she has started is a 6-figure business monthly, and that I would need to invest $10,000 into her business. And I was like, whoa, because $10,000 is what I've had saved up. But she had promised that she was making that amount of money, and she showed me her accounts. She literally said, girl, you can have $100K in your bank by next month. So, of course, I joined on, and I explained how she tricked me in part 3. Part 3 on how I stole $10,000 from my best friend. So after a month within joining, she said I would have to pay for some of the stock, which was okay, the marketing, the websites, and I also had to help her run, the pages for her business. Well, our business now. I remember when I first had joined on, she was saying like the business is going to be slow for just a few weeks. And, I trusted her because that was my girl. And every month I just was still investing into her ads, still investing into promotion. On top of the $10,000, I was still investing more and more money. Give or take, literally after 6 months, we weren't gaining barely any sales. And she said that she wanted me out of the business because she felt like I wasn't doing much. Mind you, I invested majority of the money. During the process of her wanting to kick me off, I begged her to keep me to stay. Black Friday and Christmas came up and we started to get a whole bunch of sales and we made a give or take over $30,000. Knowing that she wanted me to leave, I transferred the money from our business account to my account. Storytime of the worst birthday, and I'm pretty sure no one can top this. At the time, I was turning 25. I didn't want to do a big birthday party, so I did a small get-together. I held the mini get-together at my place, and it was around 10 to 15 of us. My friends and some of my boyfriend's friends all came. So as the party's starting, of course, we're taking shots, and my friend told me that she didn't want to drink. And I was like, why, you're pregnant or something? But I was joking. And she was like, I think so. I was like, by who? And she said that she did not know. She didn't know whether or not if she was pregnant, but she didn't want to be sick at the party, so she didn't drink. So everyone starts coming in, we're all having a good time. And she says she starts to feel lightheaded and she really didn't feel good. So I told her, to go inside of my room, lay down until she feels better. And she took some water and went to my room, which was the first mistake, which I'll get into in part 2. Part 2 of the worst birthday. So like I said, she was feeling sick and I sent her to my room. So as time goes on, I check on her just to make sure she's fine. But every time I looked, she was asleep. By the time the party was over, everybody passed out at my place. It was like a huge sleepover. So it had to be approximately 4:30 a.m. I wake up feeling a little nauseous. And when I got up and looked around, I didn't see my boyfriend. Unconsciously, I wasn't really thinking too much about him. I was just looking to get to the bathroom. Now my bathroom is connected to my room. So I walked through my bedroom to get to my bathroom. And remember, like I told y'all, I left my friend in my bed because she was feeling sick, because she was possibly pregnant. When I got done in the bathroom, I went back in the room to check on her. But when I looked at the bed, it looked like it had 2 bodies. And I'm like, who's in the bed? Because I didn't say anybody else could sleep in there. When I removed the covers, my best friend and boyfriend were naked in my bed. This is why you should never catch rides with strangers. So last year in June, one of my closest friends had a graduation party. She lived in New York, so I had to get a cab service to drive me to the party. By the way, I'm from Jersey. I think I paid like $150, but she had told me not to worry about the drive back and that she would drive me back. And plus, she was going to stay over because she really wanted to see my family. Fast forward, I get to the party. I had a great time. I met some of her newer college friends. And everyone seemed pretty cool. We took shots and had hookah. It was real fun. So after the party is over, I get myself ready. And I went to my friend, expecting to ride back. But she was too drunk. One of her friends was like, spend the night. And, go back home tomorrow morning. But I told her I had work and school. The only person that was willing to take me back was one of her friend's cousin. And we're going to call him John. John said he had no problem taking me back. And 2 hours was nothing. All her friends said it'd be safer that way, so I was like, okay. But it turned out to be a big mistake. Come back for part 2. Part 2 of you should never take a ride from a stranger. So, like I said, John volunteered to take me home. Everyone said it was probably best because my best friend was drunk. So I gave John my address. We get in the car and we start heading home. 30 minutes into driving, he starts falling asleep on the road. We literally almost got into an accident. He said he needed to stop and nap for a few minutes. And y'all, if I knew how to drive, I probably would have drove. But he was the only liable driver with a license, and I was kind of nervous about him falling asleep on the road, so I was kind of okay with him stopping. He fell asleep immediately. Me, on the other hand, I stayed up till my phone died, and I knocked out. A couple minutes after sleeping, it sounded like the back door had closed, and it woke me up. I woke John up saying, we need to go. And he's like, what's going on? I told him the car back door literally slammed. He looked back and said, how? The door is locked. And I'm like, no, seriously, I heard the door slam. He was saying maybe you dreamed about it because there's no possible way this door opened. But I'm not dumb. I know what I heard. Come back for part 3.